Hi everyone, Miss Slocum here. Welcome back to How to Create an Artwork Inspired by Henri Rousseau. When we last left off, we had just finished drawing an animal surrounded by jungle leaves and plants. I did a tiger and a parrot as an example, but you were able to choose any animal you wanted. To start the second portion of this lesson, we're going to need crayons and some watercolor, but we're going to save that for next time. Our first step is to color in our animal. We're going to be pressing very hard with our crayons during this step, so I highly recommend using older or broken crayons because we're going to be wearing these down a lot. I'll begin by coloring in my parrot, and I want to pick some colors that are very similar, so I'm going with a pink, a red violet, and a violet red. I'm picking similar colors because I want to blend them in my animal. I'm starting by coloring his tail, and I'm pressing very hard. We want to get a very thick coat of wax on our paper because when we do watercolor, we want our crayons to create what's called a wax resist, meaning that we want the wax of our crayons to push away the watercolor that we'll be adding in the last step of this lesson. One way to tell if you're coloring hard enough is to look for those little white marks that appear when you color. You'll see that in this section I really can't see through it, and in this section I can. We want our crayon to be opaque or not see-through. We want to cover up all of the white that we can. That way we know that we have a very thick coat of crayon wax on our paper. To make your piece as successful as possible, make sure to pick very bright, bold colors for your animal. We really want them to pop from the background. If you're doing this correctly, your hands will get tired, so please feel free to take breaks. Another way to go about it is instead of pressing really hard in the beginning, do a regular crayon coat and then color over top of it with another similar color or with that same color again until we get rid of all those little white areas that are peeking through. Whew, I'm giving my art muscles a real workout here. If your hands aren't getting tired, you're probably not pressing hard enough. But that's how we know we're building those fine-tuned muscles in our hands to make us even better artists. So I'm speeding this up a lot, so again, feel free to pause, rewind, or just take some extra time to finish coloring in your animal. Okay, and now my parrot is finished. I like to run my finger over where I colored just to make sure that that wax is thick enough. Time to color my tiger. Similar steps, you want to pick very bright, bold colors. Use a bunch of similar colors so you can mix and blend as you go, and press really hard with those crayons. One color that you definitely don't want to use too much of is black, because we're going to be using black watercolor in our background. Now, I'm doing a tiger, and tigers have black stripes, so I do have to do some black, but don't make your entire animal a black animal or else they might disappear into the background when it's complete. For my tiger, instead of pressing really hard right away, I'm doing regular pressure first, and then I'll color over top of it later with my other oranges, making sure to cover up any of those white areas. Excuse me. Here I think my cat thought I was coloring a picture of her. Sorry, Corn. This is a big jungle cat, not a house cat. Alright, back to coloring. Okay, now that I have my basic main coat of orange down, it's time to go over with my other oranges and press harder. I have a very bad habit of breaking crayons, especially when I'm coloring hard. So there's a chance you're going to break some crayons during this lesson. Again, that's why I suggest using older crayons or crayons that are already broken. Because if you're anything like me, you're probably going to end up with some more broken crayons after this. So one important thing in this lesson that you might not realize is that if your animal has any white spaces in them, you're going to need to color them white. I know you're probably working on white paper too, so it's already white, but because we're creating this wax resist and we'll be painting over sections later, we want to make sure that that part is also coated in wax. If it's not coated in some white crayon, what'll happen is that entire area will turn black when we paint over it with the watercolor. So make sure if you have white areas, color them hard with a white crayon. And that is it for my tiger. Alright, run my finger over, make sure I got a nice layer of wax on there. And I am done for this week. Let's take a look. Okay, brightly colored animals covered in crayon wax. How did you guys do? I really want you to take your time on these animals, getting them to look just right and making sure there's a thick coat of crayon on there. We're going to hold off on doing our plants and our leaves until next week, and I'll show you some new techniques for those as well. We also should give our hands a rest because they're probably very tired after that. Okay everyone, I hope you did great. Until next time, bye bye!